Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 6 p.m. and I am opening the November 7th, 2023 meeting of the Rutland Conservation Commission. The 5 members who are here, Peter Crane, Jared Gentilucci, Joe Della Aquila, Scott Langren, and Skip Clark are all present in the room. We do not have Zoom tonight. We're having technical problems, which I'm sure is going to make DCR and DEP not thrilled tonight, but that, my friends, is life. I can't fix what's broken right now in time for this meeting. We are, however, being recorded and broadcast on local access television and will be rebroadcast, and the recording will be put up on all of our internet-based services.
PBS thanks you. Please donate.
Must be those
You're
new
going to
cable
be
ones.
hearing those words soon. Let's start with the minutes from, the public minutes from the last meeting.
Motion to accept as written.
Second.
Any discussion, corrections, comments? Roll call.
Gentilucci, aye. Delacqua, aye.
Langren, aye.
Clock eye.
Crane abstain. We have I'm not putting them up, but I would like a motion to,
I will
for,
make a motion to accept the executive session minutes not to be released to the public.
I'll second.
discussions, comments, corrections. Roll call.
Clock eye.
Langren, aye.
Delacqua, aye. Gentilucci, aye.
Crane, aye. I was there for that one.
You were there.
Minutes are done. Just to warn folks, I am taking things out of order, but we are going to start at the top of the agenda. We have a request for certificate of compliance for 30 Finn Park Road. There's the request. There's the site inspection report from Bree with her recommendation to issue the certificate of compliance. And here is the as-built.
This has been going on for a while, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Want a motion to
Yep.
issue?
Please.
Motion to issue certificate or whatever.
Compliance.
Compliance for 30 Finn Park Road,
30 Finn
like
Park
he
Road.
said.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Clock eye.
Langren, aye.
Delacqua, aye. Gentilucci, aye.
Crane, aye.
You're good, Ann.
Thank
I'll
you.
I'll get it to you in the next couple of days.
All right,
Okay?
How's that for easy?
awesome.
Thanks for coming.
That was totally painless.
Well,
Well, not really,
the
she
lead up
said.
might not have been.
No, this part.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Request for administrative amendment to the order of conditions. So this is Craig Bacon that he came in last time. The shed is too large to go in without some paperwork. And the board agreed that an administrative change was all that was necessary.
Because the orders are still open.
Right. Okay, so everything looks, I think that's, that's just this is our last extension for this permit.
Yeah, yep, I just threw that in there to show that it was still valid.
Yep, still valid, good to know. Did these change because the property sold somewhere along the way?
I don't know, I didn't
Okay.
change those. I think that happened at the Registry of Deeds because I believe I dropped in the copy from the Registry of the Deeds. Or not of the deeds, but.
Interesting, okay, anyway. Can I get a motion to approve the administrative change for 99 Glenwood Place extension?
I'll make the motion to approve it.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Clock eye.
Langren, aye.
Delacqua, aye. Gentilucci, aye.
Crane, aye. My goodness.
yet?
We are cruising. I'm going to skip over some stuff and go to the notice of intent chapter to sell 618 property. This is 3S, this is the lot. Here you can see the locus that it's right up here somewhere. I don't know within the locus exactly where it is, but it's 3S right along Ridge Road.
That's
across the
the
street
that's the
from the other
field.
one. We
Yeah,
walk
that's
there.
it's in the field.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one is in the field, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the opposite side of the other stuff, so.
What do we think?
I don't see where it's a benefit to the town or anybody else with that small a piece unless you can buy all it up at one time. I mean, it's pretty,
Mm-hmm.
you could buy one, not the other, and get stuck with pieces of land that the town really doesn't need.
I agree. I don't, well,
No, we're
I
not-
agree. I'll stop
We're
there.
not in the real estate business.
RDIC is, and they turned it down.
Did planning board vote on this yet?
Next Tuesday.
Next
the
Tuesday.
14th. Yep, and the public hearing with the select board is the 27th of November.
And if I remember correctly, and this is my memory, so I don't trust it, but my recollection is that AgCom said, let it go.
Yeah, if you remember, this originally came before the town a couple years ago as the entire parcel, and they had done an appraisal, and after all that, the applicant withdrew it.
Right.
So now he's coming back with the individual parcels, which we've confirmed with town council, he is allowed to do it in this manner.
Someone care to make a motion?
Motion to pass.
Motion to write a letter to the select board
Saying no.
stating,
No interest. I like mine was easier.
Second,
Hey, you haven't said anything tonight.
I did. I said one thing.
I've heard aye a couple times.
Yep.
I seconded it, so you
Yep,
got,
any other discussion about this? Roll call.
Gentillucci, aye.
Dalquah, aye.
Langer and I.
okay.
Crane, aye. Okay. So we do have a report from SWICA about the meeting, on whatever date that was.
October 30th.
Says so
Says
right there. And the upshot is, we don't see anything, we're not gonna do anything now.
Oh, they didn't say they didn't, no. They didn't say they didn't see anything. They said they can't.
The question I have on that is, did anyone measure the siltation?
I can't answer that, it's not.
Brianna, she's a wetland scientist, she probably should have measured the level of siltation.
I measured some silt in front of my house. The only way I could do it was just stick a stick through it. And whether it's something new, I can't determine that. Cause all my silt was being caught up in the cat nine tails.
Yeah.
The river comes down into my pond and the cat nine tails.
Would you identify yourself, please, for the record?
Joe Warrington, I live at 69 Palmagussit.
Thank you very much.
But near the outlet that's next to my house, I can take a rod and push down the 4 to 5 feet of silt before I hit anything substantial, which is probably total of 3 feet of water and 4 or 5 feet of silt.
The reason I asked that question about measurement
I didn't
is
see anybody out there taking any measurements.
that affects the little things that live in the bottom of the rivers, streams, ponds, etc. And according to DEP, in a prior case that I was a participant in, the measurement of 3/8 was deemed then, and I'm not a wetland scientist,
Forward motion.
but 3/8 was kind of a cutoff point.
3/8 of an inch?
Yeah,
Okay.
where it would, above 3/8 of an inch has impact, below 3/8 of an inch is minimal impact because the little bugs or what have you can get through it. Or the frogs or what have you that's buried in the muck. When you hit 5/8 of an inch, that's when DEP used to get really excited about it. just that quarter of an inch difference, because what happened was they hit 5/8 of an inch in a incident that occurred ironically on the same pond, which triggered an action by DEP to attempt to fine the builder $1.3 billion. Whatever that's worth. So that's why I asked the question, did any wetland scientist, ours or theirs, actually do a quantitative analysis to figure out how deep that is?
There is nothing in the record that says it's been measured. That's all I can say right now.
And that kind of bothers me, because we have a conservation agent that should know that. Should have took measurements.
And if you read that, it says there's nothing on the bank. It says there's a monitor out in the middle, but they can't determine if it was from those events. Well, they're also looking at it since July, so you're looking at it 16 weeks after it happened.
What's happened since then?
Well, 16 weeks, it's where to go, what's that? So
Some
again,
of it-
I'm reading what they're saying, I'm not interpreting.
Right.
That's how that's said.
Some of it might have went away, some of it got washed downstream, which you're downstream.
Right.
But those were measurements that should have been done by their
Somebody.
wetland scientists.
There's only one outlet that the silt would go through on Mayan. It would
Well, I
have,
had taken water samples down there, I went down with,
unless it's dirt that's stirred up into the water.
yeah, because I was looking at what getting a rough idea of what the total suspended solids were in the stream. And it was pretty bad. I mean, I did that weeks after the initial complaints were put in. I've got pictures of
Is that for this event? Or is this for the previous?
This
No, I'm not there, I'm asking Joe about his measurement.
Well, I didn't,
I don't remember.
again, it's not a measurement you can use.
Right.
It's a white bucket with muddy water in it.
No, but my question is, was that in relation to this particular series of rain events? Or are we talking about a past history in the way that you're talking about?
No, this is this series of rain events,
Okay, thank you.
which showed, and there was evidence of siltation in the stream, all the way, there's evidence all the way to Thea Pond. If you want to be technical about it, it has moved all the way down to the next pond, through the wetlands that, are down, if you're down at the end of Miles Road, up almost to Devereux by the pump station, you're gonna find that it has made it all the way into that swamp on the right side as you go down.
It's wetland, don't call it a swamp.
It's wetlands, but, and it has traversed under the roadway into the small pond, and then you can see it on the outfall of the small pond into Thea Pond. So it's traveled quite a ways. And what I don't understand is the lack of interest by DCR, because that's all drinking water. So I don't understand the lack of interest on DCR's part. I don't understand the lack of interest on DEP's part, because for what I would, in my amateur opinion, believe this to be a much more serious event than the prior one, where they were looking at a quarter of an inch difference in the thickness of the siltation and looking to find somebody $1.3 billion. So, not defending the first incident, that should never have happened either, but in any event, I don't see the equity or the equality between how one gets treated and the next gets treated. I mean, the law is the law, you don't pick and choose what you're gonna enforce. You either enforce or you don't. And this event, certainly to my unprofessional eye, looked much more serious than the first one. And that's why it just boggles my mind that we wouldn't have had DCR and DEP just going absolutely crazy over this. So that's my question. That's why I asked if we had done any definitive measurement, which we obviously haven't, but it might have been nice to have that.
Was there a time frame difference in the last time that they, when they came to the conclusion?
That was, excuse me, that was when we had the blowouts up on Bear Hill. When Bear
But how
Hill
long
was
did it
going-
take them before they went and did the evaluation to see what's wrong?
Oh, they were out there like bees on honey, I mean.
Yeah, now it took, how long? 16 weeks?
That's what I don't understand, that's my question, is why didn't
Because
this
they brought
stop a
back-
lot more attention than it has, I mean, it's
They had
almost
large
as if somebody's
foam balls, large
it's
foam
somebody's standing on the
balls.
brake pedal is what I'm saying. That this is not what I would consider professional
Yeah,
conduct on the part of a couple of state agencies that are supposed to be looking at this stuff.
they said that the pond is 4 to 5 feet above the normal.
Who are they?
People that had the meeting, it was last week, there was
There's
it was about 8 people.
8 to 10 people that Monday, so yeah.
Was this the Swicca meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they said that they really couldn't determine the amount of silt unless they did some draining,
No, they didn't drain it for the first time they were looking at it. They just,
my cat and nine tails, there
They
was
just-
balls of foam that was probably this high.
Cause it was raining the day they came.
But even
but
then,
the silt is not necessarily related to the depth of the pond.
Right.
The water can be high,
Yeah.
right, or low, that's natural occurrence, that's gonna vary, you know, on season and rainfall.
so as it says in the next to last paragraph, best time to observe this, blah, 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 during the water drawdown scheduled for next year.
But that's the problem, if you wait that long, all right, you're not gonna get accurate measurements. That's the problem.
Well, it still continues to move.
It will continue to move, it will continue to assimilate downward into the substrate, and your measurements become less accurate. You measure it, you know, immediately after the event occurs. I mean, that, in my unscientific mind, right? But I watched how it happened, what they did on the first event, and the people that were involved from DEP took the time to explain to me the whys and wherefores, and now these same whys and wherefores don't seem to apply anymore. And that not really making sense to me.
Something written brushed under the rug.
Do we know that somebody from DEP is involved in this? Has been informed?
Peter, if I may, I do know
Please.
Bree has had conversations, several conversations with me and McDonald related to this project.
They did say when they were gonna drain it down, that they're gonna take the water and bypass my pond. 2 18-inch pipes, and they wanna run them down Molten Road.
Yeah,
Really?
that's what they were talking about doing.
You're gonna run down Molten Road.
Underneath, it has to be 4 feet underground.
They're gonna dig up Molten Road.
Well,
No, I think they were gonna horizontal drill it, just to dump it down to the stream, just
well,
to
I
get it
told them
down to the
you
stream.
can't cut through my trees, that's gonna erode my whole banking.
Maybe they'll fix your dam.
Huh?
Maybe they'll fix your dam while they're at it.
Well, that's the idea is my pond is in regular, it's maybe 1.5 feet deep. There's so much silt that's piled up in there, it should be 6 to 8 feet deep. But I gotta work on my dam. I think that's the original dam.
Well, didn't they originally talk to you about that?
About anything with my dam, no.
No, not the dam, but the trees and the siltate and removal of soil, because they had approached us, I thought, looking
No, they didn't talk
for a
No, he
place to
came in.
replicate. No, they were looking for a place to
Oh,
replicate.
that's right.
Because they were gonna disturb, BVW over here,
Right.
on his property. And they were looking for a place to replicate.
I used to have just a small patch of cat and nine tails 5 years ago, and now the patch is almost from me to across the room. That's
I
how
had-
much-
I had no cat o' nine tails
Yeah,
on my property, and now,
right,
well, you've probably seen them when you come by,
yeah, yeah,
right? Cause all of that's flooding.
cause all that silt is catching, the stream isn't holding the silt's running into my
Which
pond.
goes back
And
to,
then gets down, runs over my waterfall and down to you guys.
the original complaint that the stormwater management that rail trail put in, Wachusett Greenways, got disconnected, all right, during the construction over here on 56, and it hasn't been reconnected. So now we've got,
But there is a plan to reconnect it, it's just
Right,
not
but-
there yet, I don't know
but in
what
the
the timeline
meantime,
is.
Oh, is
in the
there?
meantime,
Yes,
Oh, you asked?
yes.
Okay.
yeah, in the meantime.
There are, I think, three different,
Okay.
three,
So,
Was there a time frame on it, Peter?
I don't remember what it is.
so I'm reading on this. So my biggest concerns on this, even on this letter, is I look at it and go, to let it flow unbalanced or unchecked till springtime seems extreme. I mean, why wouldn't you put a couple check dams in somewhere to at least stop it at a point? Even if it's stopping it in his pond, you clean it up there after the fact. Wouldn't that make sense if you're gonna wait till spring instead of letting it flush itself? That's one. And the second one is, they hired their person. Why can't we just ask for a peer review on it? On their engineer? They do. They're a contractor. Same as we do to Cleve. You
It's
can ask for a
called
peer.
53G.
No, because if it were
I don't know, I don't.
if it were 53G, we would have our separate account that they would pay into, that we would pay a consultant for.
Exactly. We adopted that
We've
10 years ago.
This is a state project, we don't have a 53G account for them.
No, there is no 53G account, because we only used it one time, and the applicant paid the consultant directly.
Didn't they use it on Cleveland's?
Yeah, Blair did that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, so we never did establish
Oh.
the account,
Oh.
but
Whatever.
we did adopt the rule.
Yeah. It's just hard to believe you'd wanna let something
Establishing-
flow for that long a period of time, unchecked at least to stop it. That's,
Establishing the account, all it is to have the accountant put it in to the town records. It doesn't require a vote, doesn't require anything.
my,
Just a matter of punching a few keys on the keyboard and establish the account.
and again, like I say, it's not even about that piece, it's more about how can't you not at least try to hold it to where it is so it doesn't move over months and months of time? And then figure it out.
It is,
Yeah, fine, it doesn't make sense that you're gonna try to clean the pond up and stuff when you draw it down, yeah, that makes 100%.
yeah,
But if it's gonna flow from November till May, it's a long time for water to flow. Whereas if you put simple double wash stone at the mouth where right here his cattails are, it's gonna catch it if you do 2 or 3 check dams. It'll sit there, clean it up after the fact.
All right, when we talked to the town accountant about the 53G and the fact that we were only planning on using it that one time, and that's why we adopted it. Because of the amount of money it costs for the town to process a check. That the agreement was made, the applicant and the engineer were amenable to doing it with that arrangement.
Right, so that we didn't
So-
actually use the
so the
53G,
town-
the applicant paid directly.
Right, so the town didn't incur additional costs that you can't charge for, you don't recoup that cost, you still pay the price of processing. So the mere fact that we don't have a line item that says 53G does not mean we didn't adopt it. It's in the minutes. It was at a public hearing, public meeting, and we took the vote. That's, Peter, for reference, is about 10 years ago.
Now you're gonna make me look it up so I can look it up.
It was not something we saw as being a tool that we were gonna use all that off.
I mean, you being an engineer, Jared, I mean, it seemed like a long time to let something float.
It does.
I mean, again, I'm not trying to pick it, but it just seems like a long time to float. I mean, yes, right time to clean it up is when you do a drawdown, no
Yeah.
doubt about it.
Yep. I think one of the biggest issues here is we don't have a baseline. We talk about taking measurements, which I think would be a good idea, but what do we compare them to?
You go back to the original records on the,
Anita does not have a record of us adopting 53G.
it's in the minutes.
Can't they do like a core sample and determine how long the silt has been there? You take a tube, you draw it
There
down,
would be,
you pull it up, and
there's a
you
complete
see,
map of
you can see how
Molten
deep that silt's
Molten
and how
Pond
long it's been there.
with the siltation levels in it
From when?
from the original.
Yeah, but Cleese project did the other end now.
No, it was the whole pond all the way.
Oh, 'cause it-
They mapped the whole thing, DEP did.
Oh.
Should be able to get that from DEP. There's your baseline.
I don't know, it's just a weird,
But the extended timeframes and the lack, what are we gonna do to get these people to move? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think we've been more than patient. I mean, what else is left? We did a cease and desist, I bet you we'd get some action pretty quick.
What is the commission's pleasure?
Do we really wanna do a cease and desist? Is that what we wanna do? I mean, somehow I think we need to draw some attention to this. This is just not getting the attention that it deserves.
So a letter to them threatening a cease and desist, would that be
They would
the
have to
proper way
cease.
to do it? Instead of issuing a cease and desist and then all hell breaks loose?
Well, yeah, see, the cease and desist is kind of a drastic measure, I mean, but they've been spoken to. I mean, there's tons of correspondence that's gone back and forth. And nobody seems to have taken it seriously. You
Well,
know,
then
it's like we're getting, blown
That's
off,
when, that's when you
things are
threaten them
getting
with a
swept
cease and
under the rug.
desist. That's when you threaten them with a cease and desist then.
oh, it was said, and I got called out on that last meeting, remember?
I know it was, but you were in a butter.
That doesn't matter, we've taken care of that.
Yeah,
That was taken care of before, it was taken care of again, I'm not really
I
worried
know,
about it.
I know it, I was just
I know.
asking you.
I know. Oh, the only other way you do it is you do it and you have a date. You set a date for, they need something by a certain date, if not, then then you go for it, I mean, it's one of those, you need.
So what thing do we want?
Well,
What do we want? What do we want done and who do we want to do it?
You can't do it on our own.
No, it's not meaningful.
what would be a reasonable time frame for them to get back to us?
On what?
Come in with a comprehensive plan, what they're gonna do. I mean, I'm willing to cut them slack. You know,
well,
I'm not an unreasonable
well,
person.
I guess your plan, if you're talking it that way, is your plan of how are you gonna contain it till spring, so it no longer moves? It's part of that plan. Whether you keep it in his pond and you deal with it later, or it's gotta be a combination of the two. But how are you gonna stop it from migrating until springtime? It's the right time to take it.
Springtime is gonna be, that's when it's gonna migrate the most.
Right, but how do you stop it until you get it drawn down so you can actually figure it out? And that shouldn't be more than 2 weeks, I mean, it's an engineering thing. I mean, double wash stone would work, and I'm not an engineer. Would double wash stone work, Jared? As a check dam?
Probably
Put a couple of them in,
Yeah.
you'd catch a lot.
Yep.
Oh, hey, shoot the whole wad, do triple washed.
No. But that's just one of those, at least it holds it in place.
Yeah.
And drawdown is definitely it's the time to fix it. Do it now, it's just not worth it. But I think they have to spend more time talking to him too. I mean, he got the brunt of it.
Yeah, he's got a mess over there.
They weren't very receptive with any talking, I was.
No. No, they're saying it's all old, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
He
that's,
said they couldn't determine it.
kick the can down the road until everybody forgets about it. I mean, that's,
Yeah, so I would
and
say.
that's the concern, I think that,
So I guess that would be one of those. They got a couple weeks to come up with a containment plan.
and then a couple weeks to implement, which puts it into December,
That's fine. You got holidays.
which is well in advance of spring.
Right. I was thinking containment plan.
So how would you want this written?
I-
not the
How we
letter
wanna write it? How-
With blood. With blood. Turkey blood, please.
Alright,
But the, you know, the problem is, that's 4 weeks. How much work have they got left there? Because the longer we wait on it, the less work they've got in front of them. You know, it's like a life sentence for me now is a lot less serious than a life sentence for you.
Not by much. Anyways, no, because again, it is what it is, because it'll affect them starting in the spring. It'll affect them starting in the spring.
Okay.
What's the projected, April?
For the drawdown, April, May, I think.
Yeah, they were gonna wait till,
But you'd stop them from doing that. Again, I mean, what they're doing now really isn't
well,
adding to anything.
is it even the same group? It's not even the same.
Yeah, it is.
You sure about that?
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
same company? I don't,
No, not the company doesn't,
I mean,
Whatever.
I don't know that the company for the road is the same as the company for the dam.
No,
I
I'm not-
do not know.
we have no information on that yet.
Right. But yeah, I mean, you just do it that way.
All right, then,
Because guess what? It still gives you through the winter to deal with whatever. And if you want us, if you get to the point that you don't get answers, it gives you a chance to ask for a peer review through winter when nothing's getting done. And see it and have to go that avenue on it, if that's possible even. Yeah, nothing's getting done, but it's like, okay, what's where?
yeah, I think DEP and DCR should be copied on it, I mean, obviously. Because, you know, they haven't.
Yeah, biggest thing
necessarily
would be nice to see it stop moving.
And I think that's the important thing at this juncture is to, you know, at least stabilize the situation. Then we get breathing room, they get breathing room. But it has to be clear that, you know, these things don't happen, then they're gonna have a problem. I mean, and we need to say it that way.
Be a shame if something unfortunate happened to your project.
No.
I already have a problem, I only got 2 feet of water, when I should have 6 to 8 feet of water.
That's not all new, Joe.
No, it's not all new,
It's not
but it was, I had, a 4-foot
Yeah.
channel open
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Yeah, I remember when you dug down that
Yeah, and that's-
bottom
That's
drain,
no longer there,
right?
it's filled right back in.
That bottom drain,
get to that drain anyway.
No, I can't,
right?
and that's my fourth,
I would think
I have
that they would
four, I have
wanna
4
use
outlets.
that. At some point, they might wanna use that.
Yeah, I have 4 outlets.
So who are we writing this to?
Do we write it to their environmental group?
I think you would write it to DOT. You'd copy the environmental group and DEP and DCR.
Okay, yep.
To however, how was this responded to from us? You'd send back to the same group, I would think. Whoever's on that group, the group emails, they would send it
Yeah,
back to the exact same group.
I don't know who was on this, but sure.
But that makes sense. Everybody's involved in watching it, so. Joe, you can put the $50 away, we don't need it right now.
Don't do it on camera, dummy.
Hey, if they wanna argue with me, they can argue with me, I'll put it right out in public.
Can you just be a little bit more specific on what we're asking and what the deadline is?
As I understand it, so I'm going to repeat what I believe I heard, and you folks tell me if I got it wrong. A plan to prevent further downstream
Migration.
is the right word, of sediment from Molten Pond, not Molten Mill Pond, downstream, and I'll just say downstream all the way to Thayer.
Yeah.
We would like the plan within 2 weeks
Implementation within.
and implementation within the following 2 weeks.
And why don't we just arbitrarily say that,
No, you don't have to put
well,
that.
no, what I'm saying is, failure to follow the,
I don't wanna threaten it.
I'm with Scott on this one. I think
There's no
that
reason to
us
put a threat,
putting-
there's no reason to put a threat in, cause you can do it anytime you want, and actually just do it, so why threaten it?
But you've got an implied threat, you might as well be upfront.
No, I
By
wouldn't.
writing this letter, you've implied the threat.
No, you're telling what you want done.
Yeah.
Maybe they were just hoping to just brush it under the rug and maybe nothing would come of it and.
So, yeah, I wouldn't put that.
But if we CC
No chance.
DEP and DCR on it.
I think that we
I
should
think
note
yeah.
that sediment is evident along the path, and even though we cannot be certain today what the source of the sedimentation is, we still want to prevent migration of whatever sedimentation is there.
Yep.
Next question. Should Tamika write this, or should Bree write this? Should it come from Tamika on behalf of the commission, or should it come from Bree as our agent on behalf of the commission?
Come from Bria.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my first reaction as well.
Yep. But I wanna see it before she send it.
Yeah,
Okay. Do you believe that's clear enough?
And yes, you can help her write it.
For all I know, you're gonna write it and just pass it past her. I don't care.
But her signature's on it.
Like a motion to write the letter as
So moved.
described.
Second.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Gentilucci, aye.
Delco, aye.
Thinking.
Feel free to
I'm
abstain.
gonna abstain.
Clock eye.
Crane, aye. I nearly abstained, but I said, nah. Requesting the check dam stuff is too important. to
I
me.
have no problem talking about it, but if I abstain, Jay can't say I waived anything.
We'll allow you.
Oh, you still took part in the
That's
deliberation.
fine.
Moving along.
Let me get one handcuffed that way. It's kinda like Skip.
There is another site visit report from Brittenell Estates.
Thank you, guys. Good to see you.
Welcome.
Thanks, guys.
Sunrise. The erosion control line shall be the limit of work and shall be clearly. Not installed, going to plan 6/7.
In terms of the first recommendation, I agree that, let me back up. Erosion controls should absolutely be installed according to the plan, because that's what we approved.
Yep.
And if they're not, then they absolutely should be. Consider requesting a report from the applicant.
Have they done has any work taken place on these two lots yet?
What lots are these?
21 and 22.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah, they're almost done.
Building permits were issued long enough ago.
Yeah, I think the houses are standing.
Okay.
I remember which side of the road
I
they're on.
expect them to be at least,
Right,
framed.
I think they're both standing. Delineated. Well, obviously, we must have delineated the line way back when.
oh yeah.
Yeah, Lucas did all.
Right, it was delineated prior to construction, so obviously that was delineated and, okay. Issues replication area to discuss with commission. Commissioner?
There's plenty of space down the other side of it for replication.
No, I think she's talking about, where is she?
She's sick today.
Oh, okay. I think she's talking about, she has issues with how it's already replicated, how it was done. There's some issues with
Well, no,
that.
she's asking for which hydric soil indicators have been identified, if any. Well, that should have already been done.
Right,
Lucas already did that.
right.
She may not have seen the reports.
Right. Okay, I guess we just passed the next meeting? Cause we really,
Going to have to, I think.
yeah,
think she
Sent a
needs-
follow-up email asking for a site walk.
right,
She sent it yesterday, so
right,
Yeah,
it is not surprising
but
right.
that we haven't
Lucas
heard
is
anything.
saying it.
Mm,
he
He's
hasn't
waiting
been
for
able to-
permission from Clea, I get that.
Yeah,
right.
but in the meantime, I think maybe Bree should look at getting that original report from Lucas to answer the.
Do we have that in
I'm sure we
electronic?
probably have it, but I do know she's been in contact with Chris Lucas and George on this.
I'm just wondering, do we know that we have it in electronic form? Is my-
No, I doubt we have it electronic.
Okay.
It's probably paper
That's
copy.
old.
Yeah, that's-
Well, that's just it. This one, Brittenell is old enough for this that I do wonder if.
Right.
But on the other hand, I'll bet Chris has it electronically, just needs to
Yeah.
forward it.
You might be able to just get it from Chris and
Yeah.
let Bree take a look at it.
Who did the plan development, do you remember? Was that Julian?
Yeah.
Wondering if we should ask for current,
Julian may not have the
oh, that's awesome news. Okay, I'll get to that later.
Peter, is there anything in the Britnell folder on the SharePoint that would be helpful?
It's a very good question.
If anything we do have electronic, I would have uploaded there.
But we need to know what year it was, don't we?
No, on the SharePoint, it's just under
Oh,
Britnell
Brittenell
Estates.
Estates. We're crossing. Oh boy, do we have maps. Oh, replanting proposal,
Bree has access to all of these, right?
yes, absolutely. Drainage crossing, I don't see anything specific to the replication area. I mean, here, let me. Cause maybe somebody else can see what I can't, because Lord knows I'm freaking blind.
What you could do, Peter, is do a search in the Concom email from Chris Lucas, because he would have likely sent it there,
Right,
depending on how.
but I mean, crossing, aren't there two crossings? Why do we only have one crossing here? I don't care. Today, I don't care.
What's in that file folder?
Which one? This one, supplemental package?
Wetland crossing
Drainage
response.
crossing. That guy can do that and see what's in this. This looks like it's just crossing related,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but it's not what we are looking
Wait a
for
minute, come
today.
back down again? Or go up, I should say.
The mitigation.
Application area.
See it? Alright,
Please restore temporary Alton wetlands resources, management system. Okay,
You can't find the word replicate.
right.
It's right below. If you keep going down, it said wetland replication.
Oh, I wonder if I just didn't type it right, doesn't matter. Sorry.
Mass DP and wetland replication guidelines, nice. And he's got the hydrology covered there too. And Bree needs to see that.
Yep. So in any event, at least we do have something electronically. Good. Yeah, supplemental report, whatever. Because I'm gonna be gone,
Tomorrow.
Tamika, I'm gonna ask you to email Bree and CC me to make sure that she has seen and read the report. To see that whether or not her questions are answered there.
Yeah.
Yeah, site visit 10/27/23.
Hmm?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Fair enough.
Da, 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 da. Oh, look, photos.
Cool sneakers.
And yep, there's sediment there. Yep.
And that's all the way down the bottom of
I was
this.
gonna say, that's a whole detention basin there. That's.
Yeah.
I suspect that's the replication area, but I'm not sure.
I believe that is.
Again, blind old man now, so I can't. I'm not sure that I can see the details I need to say. Yes, that's.
Notice I took my glasses off for that one.
So any other questions or comments on Brentnall Estates?
No.
Okay, now we're gonna do the,
Let's see what he's here. Could be nice.
why, I'm a total bastard. Are you here for a particular item?
Yeah, I got a concern on Miles Road. Stormwater,
Name, address.
stormwater drainage on my
Name
property.
and address first, please.
My name is John Hutchings, 8 Miles Road,
Thank you.
and got quite a mess over there. They did a partial fix during the week. They put in a berm. To me, it's a short-term thing. Berms can settle, berms can be knocked out with plows. I don't think that's really a good solution. However, right now, if the water came, incidentally, the Miles Road is slanted towards my property. Which is, to me, a serious problem. If it comes down, the water rides along the berm, it's gotta go into my driveway and then continue on my property from that point on. I don't like that. I don't want that stormwater drainage on my property. And, it's a problem.
Was it that way before?
No, absolutely not.
No, which is 8? Which one's
Top one,
It's the first one on the right.
Riggle's house?
yeah.
Okay. So it's
Yeah,
where, so it's where they changed the direction of the road.
You know, it's quite compatible. The way it was quite compatible. There was no water coming onto my property or vice versa. It was nice. It was great. And now that they've raised the road 6 feet, it's a problem. A serious problem. I've got a swale across my front yard now, which I never had before. It came right down and met the road nice. Like I say, compatible. I don't like having a swale out in my front yard. I stand there looking out my door towards the street and it goes all the way across the whole front lawn. It's really not an acceptable situation.
Did they take an easement on your property?
No, they didn't. They up at the very top end,
Okay.
they took 19 square feet up there.
I was just curious.
And about 24 feet of frontage, part of it on Palmagussit, part of it on Miles Road.
Okay. I was just curious.
That's what I was telling you about with the fire hydrants.
Oh, okay.
And
Fire hydrants there, one, you can see this much of it sticking out of the ground, which is the original fire hydrant, the old water main. And then the new one might be a little low.
I think they're gonna have to add on a piece for that.
Yeah.
It looks to me like roughly it's an 8 feet difference between the old one and the new one. But this condition starts way up. I used to live in Westview years and years and years ago. And I've used to watch the water come over the parking lot, over the land, down over the bank and into a containment area there by the Rutland KPs. And then I've watched the water most recently. The water runs across to the westerly side of the road. Doesn't even go near the catch basins. To me, the whole thing is just a mess. The catch basins are totally ineffective. It's the way it is right now. And I can't imagine putting a skim coat of asphalt on there is gonna make much difference. In fact, they've got right where you go down into the ball field, that little driveway in there, they've got a good-sized area with all crushed rock in there. The water's not even going in there because they got just a little bit of a rise and so the water just passes right on by, comes right down Palmagussit Road.
So all Palmagussit Road is draining onto Miles, which you're saying Miles is
There might be a little bit of-
yeah.
There might be a little bit of drainage along the way as it comes down, but on a heavy rain, there's a real serious problem there, and it starts way up there.
You used to dump,
Yeah.
a lot of it used to dump just out of the ball
Well,
field.
there was never any berms. Now you got
Right.
berms
Never
all
any
the way.
berm, now it's
Right.
being guided down.
So I'm very
Concentrated
concerned
flow.
about the mess I've got down there. It's, I'm not happy with it.
It's all stormwater.
But is it jurisdictional to Concom?
Not really, in my
It's
opinion.
state highway. The water's originating on the highway.
It's not a state highway. 56 is not a state highway, it's a route, it is a number
that's
route,
right.
but it is a town
That's right, it's
road.
the opposite, right.
Right.
That's another heck of a mess. As I understand the miles, you get it from one group of people, that Miles Road, the design of it, everything else was the town's responsibility. However, the state is overseeing the project because there's federal and state funding involved.
Is
That's a precarious situation, it really
were the
is.
Miles Road changes part of the state work?
Yeah, because they had to meet 90 degrees to enter the road in order to get the state money. In order to get tip money, you have to enter a road at 90 degrees. You can't enter, that's why.
But the raising of,
Yeah.
the raising of the road, all of that.
It's all part of this project.
Okay.
I've met with Mass DOT. And three people from SDOT and the designer who designed it for the town of Rutland. I asked the fellow from the town, the design, why did you have to go 300 feet, 350 feet down Miles Road in order to complete this? And he just said that, well, I said, why didn't you do it all right here? Right here, because I was standing right at the intersection. He said, well, it was a situation where cost was an issue, fill was an issue, all the fill that it would take. And at the same time, he said there's a wetland off to the side here. And so that was the three reasons for coming all the way down Miles Road.
We never looked at that. How close is the nearest wetland to that piece? Because remember,
Well, to which piece? Because the top of the road, Jared and I walked when there was an NOI on that.
Yeah.
So there is a wetland not incredibly far away at the top, but I don't think it extends very far down.
There is wetland
I
across
don't
the
think
street.
the wetland goes down as far as Rich Allen's house.
So
That's a natural flow of wetland, I'll tell you, it comes down, it goes into that wetland, then from there down to the pond.
Right.
It's a natural flow.
Yeah, there's a flow that goes all the way down behind the houses. And then it picks up that drain and pitched the wrong way at the bottom of Miles, right at Molten Mill Road. In between 19 and 21.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're
You
talking
know
about.
the one I'm talking about?
Yep.
And that's pitched the wrong way. It was supposed to get fixed. I mean, the residents down there at 19 complained to town
So-
administrator, and he said they were gonna do it.
the GIS map says there's a
It's right across the
wetland
street
here,
from
right
me.
at Miles, right? I mean,
Right.
Yep.
So this is what we evaluated when we looked at the ANR. So
Right.
it's not huge. It doesn't go very far. So it's
Outside jurisdiction.
And that's been broken down into 2 house lots now.
Right.
Yep. No, I don't want to draw.
But the road is, to me, is pitched the wrong way on Palmagussit, and it's pitched the wrong way when you get down to Miles Road. And the people below me on Miles Road also are having problems with water problems.
So some of it is jurisdictional at the very top because it's well, appears to be less than 100 feet, depending upon exactly where the delineation comes in.
Yeah, but many people don't understand why Miles Road had to be disrupted the way it was. They thought that it all could have been handled right up there at the top end. A simple island would have made it right. Instead of that, they moved the intersection 100 feet to the north along Palmagussit.
Yeah, I love watching tractor trailers trying to make that turn. One's going down to Devereaux. Damn near
Yeah.
impossible.
I know, that's another, I mean, I've had so many people tell me different things, like, the DOT told me, oh, it's a dead end road. I mean, do they understand what they're saying? That means every car that goes in is gonna come back out again. Whereas if it was a throughway, they wouldn't have to come out again, they just could drop off and
keep
keep
on
on
trucking.
going. So the people aren't understanding what they're saying.
She didn't find that it was jurisdictional.
Plus the level of traffic,
That's
what I'm worried about right
there.
you know, when you're looking at all the traffic coming out of Devereaux.
I don't think it was ever metered, because it's worse now, because 2 years ago, Devereaux added on up there, and there's a lot more traffic up there now.
So it appears that this problem is not jurisdictional to Concom.
Why?
Depending on where you are, you're too far away from the wetland for it to be jurisdictional. This may be entirely a DPW jurisdiction.
DOT,
Depends on where you pick up the line, I guess. If you're just picking it up off the edge of the roadway, that's one thing. If you're picking it up from
but-
the other edge, you know, if you were,
Well, by right, you'd have to go across the street.
yeah, well, this house is right here.
Yeah, but you have to go across the street and that's gonna be outside 100.
And, but the flow used to be this way.
Right.
that's right.
Right now it's diverted all the way and it's actually dumping over here now.
That's right.
And that's,
But the question
I
is,
guess that's the basic problem.
but our problem is if it's outside our 100, we really can't,
Well, if it's this way, it might be within 100, if you're measuring out to the road surface, because that's what's draining.
right.
You know, that's been changed, it's no longer do it this way, it's actually going this way.
What does the town say? What's DPW say? Because again, it's gonna be a
Well,
town,
the DOT says that the road's gonna be crowned in the middle and the water's gonna run off both sides. That's what DOT said. The town really hasn't said too much. Actually, they said there wasn't gonna be any curbing with it or berm there at all. And during the week, they put one in. Like I say, it's a quick fix. It'll probably get us through the winter all right if the plows don't take it out. But it's not a long-term solution. And like I say, the road is slanted right over towards my property and it drains right in there. When that water pipe let go up there, boy, it came right down. It went around the back end of my house and down over the backyard. So it was quite a mess.
So my question is, at the end of the Route 56 project, do they plan to restore the flow from 56 into this wetland?
I don't think they put temporary berms up.
I don't think so either.
They did put, there's the berms they put up, I think are basically permanent. They've put a couple up, but I don't think they put temporary berms up. I think where they put berms, I think they're staying.
And that was one of the other things, this was all preventable as far as my driveway. They actually, if you looked at the 50% plan, they were 25 feet before my driveway. The 75% plan put it right opposite my driveway. The 100% plan took it down beyond so now the street has been raised, and so now the water flows into my driveway. If they'd only gone by the 50% plan, there wouldn't be an issue right now as far as the driveway is concerned.
Well, it might actually be worse, because the water would be coming across your driveway, washing it out. It'd be dumping earlier.
I don't know, well, the road would have been,
Yeah.
actually it was about even.
Yeah.
It was a very compatible situation before they started this summer. I just don't want the water on my property. I let that be known. The day the man told me they were gonna raise the road. I had no idea they were gonna raise the road.
Right.
In fact, that was one of the other things DOT said, well, they had meetings for this construction. I was not aware of only one meeting, was January 26, 2021. And because of COVID, it was on the internet. And it's still on the internet. I've gone back there many times to see if I've missed something here. I've asked my neighbors, did you have any idea that they were gonna elevate this road like this? And everybody said no. None of my neighbors had any idea or anything. It came as quite a surprise when they started to elevate that road. I think it was unnecessary.
I also suspect, therefore, based on the water flow, that wetland's going away.
Say what?
That wetland's gonna go away.
That's right. And and so now you got two acre lots in there that are gonna be fine.
But you can't dry up a wetland either. That would put it, so what do you, oof. I didn't even think of that.
They have changed the water flow into a
They've
wetland.
severed the hydrologic connection.
Connection.
Does that then put it under our jurisdiction?
I would think it would.
If it directly impacts a resource area, maybe.
Yeah, but the problem is if you're.
Even if it's outside the buffer, if it directly impacts a resource area, I think then.
Yeah, that's actually said.
Yeah,
That's black and white.
and a lot of times that's more related to sediment getting into a resource area from,
Yeah,
you know.
but I know that's black and white, cause I've read that.
Yeah,
Well, that is the other side though, is if they restore that, how do they prevent? They have historically done nothing to prevent sedimentation.
Yeah.
So if their plan is,
Did they put any, I didn't look, did they put any storm drains over there? On this, that side of 56? Or all of them on the other side over by?
do we have the plan? to
KP?
look-
I think they only have the ones that were originally there.
Yeah, are they still there? Are the
They're
original?
still there, but they're ineffective because they're higher than, that's where the water's coming. I've got it here on film, you know, on my phone. The water coming across just before where the catch basin is, where the Rutland Market is. It's coming right across there. It's quite a bit of water.
Yeah, see if the storm drains that were there could be used, they could, you restore that connection.
Well, the big thing too right now is all the storm drains are 1.5 inches above. So when they, so not
So
catching
when they
it.
put that,
So when they put the top on, it will go in the storm. So and they did it backwards. Most of the time you put them below
I don't
Yeah,
think
and
they're
you
gonna
raise them
go
as you're gonna pave
upwards
it.
to meet
They did
grade.
it backwards and put them higher.
Yeah,
So the plows can eat them all winter.
okay, so here's the Miles Road connection. Just a second, I need to. So, hold on, what we wanna know is, are there storm drains up gradient of Miles Road? And that's the previous one.
seems to me there was one. But I wouldn't swear to it either.
Cause that next one, oh no, so this is the one that's directly up? Yes. So this.
Yep.
That's a drainage outlet.
Yeah, that's that one that goes from across the road that they always had problems with. Proposed scene, proposed scene. I can tell you tomorrow when I walk.
There's the water running down.
Well, I suppose we can ask them, you know,
Water running
if they
down
change that drainage
Mama Gussit.
characteristic to dry that out.
Ball fields right here.
Yep.
Coming down here in waves across this road, across Palma Gussit. The catch basin's way over here, and it doesn't even go near
Yeah,
it.
it's right over, yeah.
It's at the other side of the driveway. And that water's coming from up here, coming up from Westview, down over the hill.
Yeah, Peter, take a look at this. That's a perfect picture of what we're looking at.
Yeah, the catch basin's right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The water doesn't even come near it. It's actually coming across Palma Gussit right here.
And I believe there's
Well-
another inlet.
That's the one that, the rocks, that are
Right.
in there, but the water doesn't go near it. Because they've got a little bit of a raised area
Right.
and preventing it from going in there.
But that I expect to be fixed when they do finish.
Yeah, well, it's backwards right now.
Yeah, they're doing everything.
Yeah.
There's another catch basin across from the Catholic church, where you go into the church parking lot. That one's higher, and the water just drains right into the parking lot of the Catholic church
Right.
now. And the finished coat's not gonna change it.
Yeah, well,
It's gonna, it will?
that's why they,
Yeah.
most of the time when you build a road, you put them lower, and before you do top coat, you jackhammer out and bring them up. For some reason, they installed them at finished grade height, so they don't have to dig them back up next year. They just have to take the crap asphalt off and then pave over them.
Yeah,
But
but
what
in the
I- what I-
meantime, they don't
They did it
work.
backwards.
But I think what I'm seeing is the road is lower.
Right now it is. The finish coat will bring it up even to the top of that catch basin. Most of the time you do that, most time when you do it, you put it below until you're ready for the finish coat. And then you jackhammer them up and lift them up. And then you put your finish coat when you do the finish coat. This way here, because it's sitting for a year, it's gonna sit until they put the finish coat on next year. They did it backwards,
Okay.
which is weird.
Now, this is coming out of, the old KT's parking lot. This is bothering me.
But it's okay.
You can see quite a bit of water's coming out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see it over here. Now, you watch. There's a pipe or something right there and the water's spurting out of it. See it? Water spurting right out of
Yeah,
that
that's, I don't think I'm surprised by that. That's the drainage from
from,
Marsh.
KP's.
Yeah.
yeah, it comes over,
That-
comes from
Because
Westview.
all the water on that parking lot and the building goes underground and comes out that pipe. Yep.
Okay, well,
That's the way that's designed to work. That's their stormwater plan, to get it to the
Okay.
road, so it goes into the
Mhm.
roadway's stormwater system.
Right.
one other one I'd like.
So I guess the only, I mean, again, I don't
So I guess
know.
we're gonna have a hard winter over there.
Oh, yeah, that's beyond, no, but this thing here, you're wondering, okay, so what do we do or don't? If it's gonna dry the wetland up, it's an issue, so who do you talk to about that? That's the question on it.
That might
You've
be,
obviously changed the,
that might be a question that we should have Bree address with.
With Mia.
or just ask, because it's, because,
Let's ask questions of DEP.
yeah,
And
That's
let
the wise
DEP guide
yeah.
however we respond.
Here's an interesting for you. This is, Westview. Come on.
Doesn't wanna work.
No, it doesn't want to. It's quite an interesting one.
So it is my suspicion that,
This is where the pool is up in here.
right?
Swimming pool,
Yep.
comes down here. You can see it flowing through. Quite a bit of water. This is, incidentally, this is, October of 2018.
Mhm.
So the water comes down along here, goes down over that, over the hill. And that's where that area was, where that pipe was. that
Right.
I showed you, yeah. Goes into there. And then after it goes there, then it crosses Palmagussit and goes down Palmagussit down to Miles Road.
Right.
So
So
it's-
I'm gonna take a wild guess and suspect that DPW will say, it's all gonna get fixed when finished grade is done.
A lot of it will get fixed. because
And a
if
lot
you
of
were-
it will, but.
Right, but we gotta make sure they don't dry the wetland up too.
That's right.
Now we
So
gotta,
that's why we need Bree to write a letter to
Up at Westfield?
DEP
the water
asking
comes
for
along and goes down over the
advice
hill. To
about
that stone area down by
changes and
KP's.
having lost, the roadway changes on 56 have lost the hydrologic connection to a
the
wetland.
water comes off that
How
hill?
did, how did it get there
Yeah,
before
it's
the project
unbelievable.
started?
There's no
Was it just overland flow?
That's why I don't want it on
Just went
my
off the edge of the
property.
road.
And then, unless I'm mistaken, I can be mistaken, but I don't think I am. This
Right there.
was already there. This takes other stormwater and shoots it to the wetland, basically.
Right.
So that part, it looks like is going to come back, but I still have a
Count on it.
fundamental concern. What's that?
Count on it, cause that may be partially covered now. We gotta look.
Yeah.
Share this info with Bree. I'll have her reach out to DEP and we can have a follow-up at the next meeting.
That's right. I think that's as well as we can do.
Okay.
I think you asked me though, what does the town say about it, DPW and whatnot? There's no comment really. Now that Mr. Buckley's gone, there's not, there's nobody really to fill in at that point.
We have a manager. There's a new person in charge.
Who is it?
Chris Kolofsky.
Well, I've talked to him.
Yeah, he's in charge now.
Is he really?
Oh, yes, sir.
I thought he was probably nothing more than a foreman, maybe on a project.
No,
Mr. Buckley really made a mess out of this whole thing, I think. If I had to put my finger on somebody, it would be Mr. Buckley.
So that flared
he
up section
said
is going
soon
back
as
in.
mended.
What's that? Yeah.
They are proposing that to.
It's
go
kind of
back in.
ironic that Mr. Buckley fled the town just as this
The
project was getting started.
reason for raising the road, because I've personally observed things, tractor trailer makes the turn. Okay, if they had not raised this section in here, the landing gear of the trailer would never clear.
Right.
Scrape the
Drop.
ground. They
Yeah.
they probably had to change the vertical curve of the road to make that work. That's my guess, although I haven't looked at the existing grades. And I've only gone down Miles Road. I'm not as familiar with it as others
All the
are.
time.
The thing that's funny now is to
That's
watch,
it.
see, the whole
Before
purpose,
the
part of the
project.
reasoning for this way back, when we first talked about it with Gary Keller,
Yep.
was to allow the cars make this turn a little easier.
That
instead of
made
running off
sense.
over here.
That made sense.
And that was a good thing. The problem now is the tractor trailer's coming in, because this isn't accurate right here. All right? The tractor trailer comes this way and has to make the swing, all right?
Yeah, but that's way,
This is ideal, but it's not what's existent now. If you go look, this shows, a theoretical trailer being able to, no problem. But that's not what exists up there. I think
I've got
some
another-
changes were made in the field as conditions were,
I've got another
dictated.
issue as well. I was told by the Mass DOT, the field engineer, that cars will only be doing about 5 miles an hour right here in this area. And I think he's badly mistaken. I want a guide rail put in to prevent cars from coming. If you move that down just a.
You just need to buy a tow hook and you can tow them out. You'll make money.
Well, they put boulders-
It's a nice side job, it's a nice side job for you.
He's worried about parking.
I got boulders there now, ready for the cars to become airborne when they hit them, and then that way.
Get some game cameras, just set them up.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's, I don't know. But the water situation,
With the relocated road, I don't know that the roadway is close enough to be jurisdictional anyway. With respect to the wetland that we saw on the map. I don't know. That's how we have to measure.
Yeah, let her ask the question and see where it goes.
So, I agree, let's let Bree look into advice from DEP about it.
Yeah.
One of the things-
Especially if the change of drainage is gonna change the size of the wetland, right?
It's gonna I can't see how it can't materially affect the wetland.
Right.
One other thing I'm noticing, I was just looking at the grading plans, and Palmagussit is crowned.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a catch basin right across from the intersection with Miles. There's a catch basin on the east side. There is not one on the west side, which, just looking at the plan, would tell me that the west side of Palmagussit, as you come from south to north or left to right on this plan, based on the grades, is gonna go right down Miles Road. Why didn't they put a catch basin in on the west side?
that would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I don't know, cause I looked further down, there's another catch basin further down, but only on the east side, but the road is crowned.
That's right.
When you crown a road, you gotta have catch basins on both sides.
And they put curbs on the whole thing.
Right,
You got granite curbs on one side and you got regular curbing on the other.
Right.
And yes, you're keeping all the water on the road, but there's nowhere for it to go.
That's the problem, yeah. That's surprising.
It's gonna be a fun winter, folks.
Yeah.
As fun as it is on Glenwood.
It's gonna,
Well, you know what though, the best thing is it's only base coat, number one.
Right.
So you're gonna get to live through it for a winter and figure out what they have to change before it's finished. So again, there's bonuses to how it's done, The fact is that the storm drains are above catching anything, makes no sense to me for a winter. Again, if it was gonna be done in the summertime, it was a short term, fine, but you're gonna go through winter.
Funny thing is, when contractors do that, I don't think they realize they're making more headaches for themselves. Cause now they have to deal with the stormwater that's not going into the catch basins.
But they don't because it's winter, so nobody cares.
Yeah, I know.
And the amount of water that's gonna flow down there through the stuff that's not gonna be there, cause it's starting to pour out the mulch bales. It's just gonna go, so. Okay. Yeah,
Share this with Reed.
yep,
Thank you.
okay, sorry. Thanks for taking that order, Peter. That was just it was just a quick minute.
It's all at my whim today. Let me.
We'll look into it.
Yeah, it's
He's
just,
gone after tomorrow.
it needs, obviously needs to be looked into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multiple reasons. I mean, we can't do the road stuff and that, but if what they did changes the wetland is there size wise and stuff, then it concerns us.
Right,
So.
okay. Thank you.
Check back.
Thank you very much.
About Christmas. Peter's a size double extra large.
Excuse me, single malt.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. Have a good night, John.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Joe.
We have an as-built checklist here somewhere. And of course, I let it go small.
Well, we were cruising along.
We were, for what, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Looks pretty easy
How
for
do
a little
you,
while.
how do you think I feel? I keep looking at that clock.
Right, I know. I haven't even looked at the clock till now.
Yeah. That's what we talked about.
Well, that's what you talked about. I wasn't here.
You were in the back room. You were here in spirit.
Yeah, you skipped out.
Darn straight I did.
Well, how'd we do, Peter? How'd we do, Dad? Did we do okay?
Didn't you listen in?
No, if I can help it, I'm too busy on doing stuff. Way too many internet sites to read, come on. Okay, so are we satisfied with this list?
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Do we need a motion to approve it?
Let's,
Make a motion to adopt it.
Are we gonna make an
motion to
official
adopt it.
form?
And the fast answer is yes, we are, because this is going to be something that's gonna be available on the website and that we should, I don't know if we should hand it
We
out.
should adopt it
Yeah,
at a minimum.
Should we, I think we should adopt this, obviously adopt it, but I think we should include this as a special condition too.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because,
that's a good point, that we should have a new special condition that calls out
That,
not only that we require an as-built, but that here, hold on, that.
and we can
That-
list
yeah.
all of this in it.
yeah.
We can't, I hate to
But-
put them in both places though. I'd rather say something in our special condition that when the COC comes in, requirements as laid out in this document are followed, which allows us to change it.
That's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's
That's
true,
fine.
we could do that.
Yeah.
Reason I bring it up is because I've had a number of order of conditions in other towns and cities in Massachusetts, and a lot of other conservation commissions put this as the last condition. And they literally spell out everything they wanna see in the as-built. But I'm fine, if we wanna reference it, that works too.
Which way does the commission wanna go? I don't
No
have
strong
a,
opinion.
I don't care.
Reference it.
Reference the
Reference.
okay.
If I may, Peter,
Yes.
I'm just thinking too, like to Jared's point, at least they're aware of it at the start of the project and can include it in the cost, whereas if they're getting it after the fact, I think that's what we're seeing from some people is they may have to rehire the engineer to get the specific things on there that they need.
well, if you reference it in the
Yeah,
order of
but if the
conditions-
order of conditions references the document, they know they have to read something else.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not strongly in favor or strongly opposed to one way or the other. I understand what you're saying and
I like the point though, cause of the cost, because if, guess what, if it's in the first piece, they know it's part of the cost. Cause again, when you're buying a house, you know, except for eating pizza for the first month, you really don't.
If they don't read the conditions, then that's on them,
Right.
but we at least provided them with the information upfront.
With something else that they already really looked at. But-
Yeah.
Okay, I like it, yeah. Change your mind, Skip.
but this also suggests, well, needed anyway, that we need to review this condition for every order of conditions that we write, because whether or not we require grading is a site-specific condition. And whatever else we want, that we need to think about it in advance during the permitting process.
So let's include all of it as a special condition, and at the time we develop that
We
special
fill it
condition,
out.
we determine, all right, guys, do we want grading?
Do we care
Yes or
about
no?
grading?
Yeah.
Is there anything else that,
Attach it to the
But
documentation.
you guys are
there
kind of
you go.
already doing that now when you say like putting the
Right.
boulders and the markers and, you know, you have to see them for final inspection, you're kind of already
Yeah.
doing that.
Well then, let me ask the question differently. Do we need to even adopt this? If it's going in as a special condition,
Then you don't need to adopt it.
and I don't know that we do, because then you have
Yeah.
duplicated information and they can get out of sync. And that's the last thing that we want.
that's a good point.
Yeah,
So-
but is this something Bree wanted? Cause over the one of those last things we had, she
No, I
couldn't,
don't think it was specific.
No,
to
it wasn't
Bree.
her.
No, I think
I-
this came up because people were,
It's
Well,
a
somebody
generic,
asked for
Reading the conditions.
a stamped set of drawings, Finn Park Road.
Right.
Okay, that wasn't in their order of conditions,
right.
right? And we hit them with it at the end, right, which, you know, may not have been the best thing for us to do, but if you put it in as an order of condition, in the order of conditions, then you don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, I mean.
There's
I
no
have-
surprises for anybody,
I
put it
haven't
that way.
asked Bree about whether she wants it specifically as a checklist that's separate, or if putting it in the orders of conditions
That is the
is what,
checklist,
yeah.
when you come right down,
I would put it in the orders. It's there.
yeah. There's no denying it. They
There's
got,
no denying.
Yeah, I think it's good to have it in the order of conditions and have it spelled out specifically, cause then you're right, there's no way it can be questioned.
Right, you know you had to put silt fence up, you know you had an inspection, you know you had to, hey, by the way, when you're done, you know you had to do this. Oh, I didn't read that far. Well,
Well, that's their
that's
fault.
not my fault.
and most engineers are the ones filling out the forms anyway, so.
That's why I usually notice it in the orders for my projects, cause I look for that stuff.
But are you
Like, all right,
sure all engineers are as diligent as you?
Well, maybe not.
Diligent?
But it's in there, if
Sure
it's in there, it's in
diligent?
there, and you're required
Doing
to
his
do
due
it.
diligence.
I personally don't see any harm in still having, I don't know, what we call it, a document like this, that can be a resource.
Yep.
But I think it
Which can be
makes sense.
posted separately,
Yeah.
again, we can put it on the website, all of that, even on the new website.
And
We could do all that, that's okay, I'm not saying that we shouldn't. But I don't think that we need to adopt this list if we're going to put everything in the order conditions. Even if it's going to be published separately, we don't need to formally adopt it, because I know they have only one
Yes.
adopted thing.
Yes,
agree with that.
I agree with that.
Just one thing I noticed here, it's a very minor thing, but the very last sentence there before the numbered items, all as-built plans must be dated and stamped by a registered, I think that should say registered professional engineer.
thank you, Jerry.
Hopefully we don't get mechanical engineers stamping plans.
So Tamika, if you don't mind, next time have
Probably
a
will.
draft of our new
Yep.
special orders. And that's what we'll adopt, and, okay, that's what you'll adopt, I'm not gonna be here, screw you guys.
We adopted, you're stuck with it for 18 years.
23.
I was gonna say, older than that if they go to college,
It's that.
sometimes
like
26.
I was giving Peter 18 years life expectancy. If it had nothing to do with the kid.
Housing costs and interest rates, I think it's 35 years now.
Okay. So we know what we're gonna do.
Yes. Clear as mud.
If it was a standalone document, I think you would have to adopt it, but not as an order of conditions.
So we are not talking about wetlands bylaw tonight,
Ah, shucks.
sorry, because we have other stuff to talk about. We have to talk about how we and the conservation agent need to work together better. So, one of the questions that come up is who reports to who? Bree reports to two people. Bree organizationally reports to the town administrator, which may change to the town planner with things that are happening, that's not important. That's organizational, that's review of time cards and review of other things.
It's purely an HR function.
It's HR-related functions are that. Functionally, she reports to the commission as a body. And she will usually get, she will get direction from the commission as a body, usually through the chair. Okay? That doesn't say nobody else talks to Bree. That's not what we mean to say. But when we each have something that we would like her to do, we should ask her, not tell her. So when I asked, and in fact I made it a little too extreme when I did it, when I asked her to set up a site walk at the Heights before winter, she did it because, well, it's a site she hasn't been on and she should do it, and I personally haven't been on the site forever. But she should go off and look at that so that, to make sure that nothing really bad has happened starting in July with all the rain. I have no idea what state the ECVs are in.
Right.
They're actually in pretty good shape. I've been up there.
Yeah, cause we walked that was a while ago.
That was a long time ago and they weren't right, they had to be fixed.
Yeah.
And that's
The ones that
okay.
weren't 6 feet above the ground. Here's my cut, and here's the, I think you're safe.
Those are the ones that you call police evidence tapes.
Right.
We all expect everybody to work well together, and it's gonna take some adjustment on everybody's part. Bree has her expectations from her experiences, and we have ours based on not having one, and how we move forward is important. Bree should be the primary contact for all Conservation Commission business. I am not saying at all to the public, you have to call Bree and only Bree. We each have relationships with various people in town. But as part of the communication with anybody in town, one of those statements from anybody on this commission should be, we should involve Bree in this.
And vice versa.
And yes, I accept that absolutely. It has to be a fully open, two-way set of communications.
Any communications to staff answering to Conservation Commission, staff needs to immediately forward that to all commissioners. Any and all correspondence.
Peter, can I just speak to that though?
Yes.
I mean, when I was handling all of that, I simply would just put it on the following agenda, because we shouldn't be talking about it in between meetings, unless it's an emergent thing, it was just became an agenda item.
Well, we weren't really talking though. Somebody called and said they had something, you'd say, hey, somebody complained about this, and we'd know about it.
That's right, somebody has a
So,
complaint,
I mean, somebody said, hey, 356 Main Street, somebody has a complaint, you just put it out to everybody, and you might put it on the agenda, but if we could look at it beforehand, we'd go look at it.
So if I get a complaint like that, I shouldn't be referring it to Bree
Everybody,
staff,
I
I
would
should send it to everybody?
so we know about it.
but any correspondence should
Everybody
be
should
shared.
be aware.
Any correspondence should be shared with all the commissioners.
Yeah.
I mean, back when, the meetings have changed since way back. That's why we used to have something that we called correspondence. All right? And everything came in, all the flyers,
Still
all
on
of
it.
that,
Oh, yeah.
you know. You want this flyer, you want that flyer, you wanna look into this?
This flyer, that flyer, and forestry plan, cutting plans.
Yep,
all
everything was
been
put
part.
on the table.
And I still do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're not saying some of these things are not changes for us. Some things will be changes for us.
Well, it almost sounds like basically what we're saying is, you want it the same way it was, and Bree's included on it. And it goes back and forth. I mean, anything that we always get from when it,
Go back and forth, because now you're getting into
no,
open meeting violation.
no back and forth about it. But it's almost like you get
It's
the,
informational purposes only, that's.
yeah,
And I think you might be wise to put that on there. You know, if you do forward something or pre-forward something, have a disclaimer in it, it's informational purposes only.
That's meaningless. The fast answer is, nobody responds to email. That's the right way for us to do it.
Yeah,
about it, specific.
About a just jurisdictional, you don't do anything that would be interpreted as deliberation.
exactly.
Okay. Okay, you done?
Probably not, but go ahead and ask your question.
So my question is, considering it seems through the back and forth emails that, Austin was a little confused and everybody was confused at who's whatever and how it was advertised? What happens with that?
We advertise exactly what the commission wrote.
We wrote the job description, that's what she does.
About who she answers, I don't wanna say answers to, because it sounds terrible. It's not even her, it's this position. I don't wanna keep saying Bree, it's the position, period.
She answers fundamentally to the chair of the Conservation Commission.
By law.
That's not clear.
That's,
I wouldn't say that.
that's part of the Wetlands Protection Act. It's written in, and the reason for it is because it's an appointed board. Right, unlike an elected board, where some select board or a town administrator, or however your city or town's set up. Right, elected boards have an automatic protection. Appointed boards do not. And the reason that was done was to ensure that the Conservation Commission can function as an independent body with no exterior or outside influences or any packing of the court. You and I we both know how that worked, all right? And that's the reason for that. And that is in the Wetlands Protection Act. It was put in there, right, specifically for that purpose, so that we could not be coerced or, you know what I'm saying?
This body is supposed to be extra political.
That's exactly true.
What? I've never heard that word.
Extra outside,
I know.
Yeah.
like extramural or intramural, I suppose. But that is the whole reason, and it exists, it's not out for discussion. It's in the Wetlands Protection Act.
Peter, if I may, Melissa had sent an email and shared with us today in her experience as a Concom agent. And she said it is set up differently in different communities. Some conservation agents report directly to the commission, others report directly to the town administrator. And the way that it was set up with how she was hired, is she reports, like Austin has the control of hiring, firing, performance reviews,
Right,
things like that.
that's the
And-
organizational
yeah,
pieces, yes.
Yeah, so I just wanted to
No,
clarify, cause
and I don't think anybody here
No.
disagrees with that. Austin, and whether it moves under John or not, whatever,
That's part of his HR hat,
that's right.
Right.
that's all it is, HR function only.
But there is a functional responsibility to the Conservation Commission and not to the town administrator. And by the way, I've talked to Austin not that long ago, and he agreed with it, and I talked to Bree and she agreed with it, so there is everybody seems to be in violent agreement that there is organizational reporting and there is functional reporting, and everybody's on board with that, so I don't think we have a conflict here.
You must have read the emails wrong yesterday.
No, a couple of the emails were a little less than well worded.
Yeah,
I work for Austin,
period.
period.
That's from Austin. When he asked you and you said it's from Mac, he can't copy it. He's saying so it is not clear.
It's not
It
clear
was-
in somebody's head.
It was clear
Read the email.
last week when
I know, and again, there's no power struggle, it's not whatever, but it's like, no, I mean, it's one of those, fine, the administrative pieces, we
You
understand
set up that position to fail.
if you do
Because
it.
nobody can work for two bosses,
Right,
you know? You gotta follow a chain of command, period.
yeah, cause I mean, you read it,
I've done that
Right.
nearly my entire professional
Yeah,
career.
you and I both know at a given level, but at that level,
yeah, it didn't seem clear in those emails yesterday.
and that's a basic misunderstanding. I mean, the same thing with Tamika. When Tamika sits in this board, she is working for us, period. All right? When she sits over there with Austin, she's working for him. All right? It's separate and apart. All right? Austin cannot give her direction as to what she's gonna do for us. All right, or how she's gonna handle anything for us. All right, and I would expect that if that happened, that Tamika would tell us about it, so that we could deal with it on a higher level rather than stress the hell out of her. Because that gets stressful. I mean, let's face it, somebody that you are answering to in one respect gives you something or says something to you that seems like a desire or whatever,
A direction.
a direction that conflicts with, for argument's sake, you giving her a direction, right? Bree or Tamika, all right? That puts that just puts stress on them that they don't need. I mean, Lord knows they're underpaid and overworked as it is, but you don't need to pile more junk on them, and that's what it is, it's junk. And it's a managerial responsibility to clear that stuff up. Right, so Austin needs to be clear on it, we need to be clear on it, and then communicate that to the affected employees. So that it's easier on them, they know where the bounds lie. There's no need to stress people out unnecessarily.
In an email from Melissa, and I'm just gonna paraphrase large portions of this, she's talking about actually establishing standard processes for us to follow, and I think that's overall gonna be a really good idea for us. I've said it before, I've said it last week, I'll say it again. This commission is highly involved, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. But, having said that, I also have a vision of the commission offloading work to the agent so that we can start concentrating on other long-term planning and the other responsibilities that are part of this commission's charge. And I don't see us collectively having time to go in that future direction if we're involved in each little thing. That's my guess.
You don't need to be involved in it, but it's nice to know what's going on.
We do need to be aware. And everybody recognizes the commission as a body is the ultimate arbiter.
Some of those things, like the open space plan, the original one that I got involved with, I subcontracted out, and you can use some of the funding for that. Alright? Subject to procurement laws and whatever. But we don't need to actually do it ourselves, like an open space plan. We got an open space committee, okay, that's fine. But the first time out of the box with that, it was just too daunting of a task.
Sure.
It would have never got done, right? So I made the decision to go outside. I spend the money, got it done. Now, what happened to it afterwards, that's
Is
another
what
discussion.
usually happens to all plants in this town.
Right, but there are times when you may need to do that. It might be, you know, if we see something, you know, when you talk about future, if we see something that looks to be time consuming, and that's probably our biggest expense, personally, is our time. I think we really need to consider taking advantage of outside agencies for their expertise, number one, for the, you know, relieve the burden on the.
Well, you can always look into it, and you get a
Yeah,
ballpark, you get a ballpark.
But that's what I'm saying, you
Right.
gotta have that
Yep.
in front of you. All I'm doing is throwing it out there based on, building on what Peter was saying, you know, about the other things that we are chartered to do, that
Right.
we need to
Yep.
start paying attention to.
Mhm.
Now that we have a relatively stable commission, we haven't had the changeovers and stuff, and hopefully that, you know, the select board sees fit to continue it this way. We can more easily, I think, start looking at that stuff. But we should not shy away from looking for outside help.
True. Relating this directly back to the agent position, we need to ensure that our actions do not interfere with Bree's authority to act.
Now, why would we do that? How would that happen?
I'm not saying that somebody has, I'm saying that she, because of her position, she has certain authority built in. And we need to not only ensure that we don't interfere, but we need to actively support her in her decisions.
Right, and the only way we can do that is to be aware of
Right.
what she's doing.
Yep.
Peter, may I ask, in what way or what method does the commission want her to share those things? Because I think her understanding was doing those site visit reports was a way of communicating what she's doing, what she's seeing.
And that's true for formal site visits. But as we move forward, she's going to get more direct contact from residents.
Right.
With questions and comments and issues, where today, they talk to Joe or they talk to Scott. We should be directing them towards her. I'm not saying cut them off, I'm not saying.
No, I mean, you're not. I think the easiest way to say that is say last Monday's visit, when they had everybody at DEP, all the other stuff. Yeah, she's been 7 these visits. That's a pretty big visit that nobody knew she was having.
I didn't know what's going on.
Because that would have been one of those. I mean, if you're gonna have DEP, the wetland science, we knew, you know it was coming, but we've been waiting for how many weeks? But nobody knew it was coming. So it's kind of like, okay, well, what are you doing? Hey, we got a meeting we're all having. Well, why did nobody know about it? That type of thing. It's just an email. Hey, by the way, I'm meeting with Bing, 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 and Bing at whatever time. I mean, because the same differences. I mean, from that same email group of whatever, nobody ever said they wanted to go. I couldn't have been any more clear that I wanted to know when stuff was certain stuff, so you could go to something like that. I mean, that's a pretty big event. Not that you gotta say much, but nice to hear what they have to say. But yeah, so it's kind of one of those of, you know, it's the general contact of, like you used to do. JQ Public would call, hey, I got this. Yeah, it's gonna go to, it's almost just like that regular email, and that's why I said it, everybody just excluded it. Bree's still the head of it, but everybody knows that somebody at 356 Main Street or whatever called a complaint that their neighbors got an excavator in wetland. It still goes to her, but we just know it showed up. Like that with that, when she was when she knew that everybody was coming, hey, by the way, everybody, I have DEP, DCR, I have the wetland scientists coming, and we're having a meeting at 10 o'clock on a Monday. So it's just the email touch on it.
So it would have been nice.
It's not a micromanagement thing, it's just because that's one of those you go, ooh, hey, could you ask them this? Or what do you think about, so you could give her this, and it's not having a meeting, it's a statement on the whatever, or you could show up at it.
It would have been handy to know that, because then the questions I posed here tonight about sedimentation depth,
Yeah, if you would've showed up at it, you could've said, well, we're gonna measure the sediment.
yeah, what, who's gonna do that? And ask the question right then and there.
I mean, a lot of stuff's still gonna get passed and you're not gonna go on it. But some of those, I mean, I hate to pick on this, but it's a good example of it. Of the certain things. Cause if she wasn't there and that happened, we were all known about it and somebody would've been there. Cause they would've contacted us. And you just know about it. It's more about knowing about it. I mean, she's gonna go up and look at the 55 and over community. Well, when? Maybe somebody wants to go with her. She knows it's set up for 9 o'clock and whatever. Hey, she can set them up. Hey, I'm going at 9 o'clock, whatever, I'll meet with them. Okay. And somebody says, hey, I'll meet you there. Or they don't meet her there. But it's by choice. So it's more of that communication,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
I mean,
Not just taking
it's almost like if she had a calendar online that you could see what she is when she
Exactly.
is.
That's right.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah, we are not
I'm
asking.
not trying to
for-
micromanage it.
Yeah, exactly right. We cannot micromanage
No, I don't want
this.
to.
And not schedule things around our
No.
schedule.
That's
She
right.
should be around hers.
It's around her schedule.
Just to say, I mean, I agree, I love the notion of, hey, just so you know, this is happening.
Right. And same thing, it'd be one of those. If she meets Tom every third Wednesday at whatever, hey, it's just one of those, whether it comes out, hey, I'm meeting Tom on every third Wednesday, and I'm meeting, but the reminder kind of like, hey, by the way, so in case somebody wants to go. And it's almost like having a calendar, you could say.
I know, we can do shared calendar, but I think it only works if in Outlook, right?
Yeah.
If you have an Outlook
And
account.
but again, it has to be a calendar, but it's one of those where she has appointments scheduled with people on something. It's a simple email. And it doesn't
Peter
have
said it best a while back when he said, we
I-
don't wanna lose touch with the land.
Hmm.
Alright, you gotta go out and look once in a while.
Right. And she's still the point of it. It's not going around our schedule. It's still going around her schedule. It's just a matter of knowing, certain things that come up big. To 55 and over, if I was around, I'd go, because I haven't been there since they did much.
And the other part of it too.
And
is
same
you
thing,
don't
she's
wanna
gonna be there,
lose
go, hey,
touch with the
okay,
people.
let me see it. Be interesting.
So Tamika, does the new website have the facility to make a calendar that's quasi-private?
Oh,
So, cause it's not formally private, but it's just not
It's not public.
advertised. We would, so that those of us who are in the commission would know about it, would know, and when we're interested, would know to go looking at it.
I'd have to look into that. There is the option of being able to do a calendar that's specific to the Concom that we can put on our page. But I don't know about the ability to make it private.
Well, either that or it could be
Maybe it doesn't need to be private, I don't know.
but even that, could it be on every Friday she does an update? Or Friday or Monday, whatever?
What's coming up next week?
What's
in her
coming up next
schedule?
week?
Could do that.
I can ask her how she'd wanna do it. It's just a general
It's
information on what
easier.
she's doing.
Yep.
So whether it's a Friday, or something pops up all of a sudden, hey, this week had a whatever, and I'm gonna meet with, she can add it any time. But if you knew every Friday, kinda like you do on Thursdays most of the time, or Friday before a meeting, hey, by the way, here's your stuff. So if she did it on a Friday as a regular, hey, I'm meeting whoever, or here's my rough, she's got plenty of other stuff to do. But that might be the touch, and if she gets the special one in the middle that's a big deal, it's just a random email, it's a group of 7 people, 6, 7 people.
One thing we do need to be mindful of, probably would be unlikely to happen, but if we were to have too many commission members there,
We
it'd
just
have
can't
to
discuss
be-
it.
it'd have to be posted, right? Or
Or
we
you
can't,
don't talk.
we can't
Right,
talk.
right,
yeah,
and that's if you have
Yeah.
enough commission.
right, which is probably unlikely.
Right.
No,
I
we've
would-
had it happen, we've had that happen.
We have had it happen.
We have.
But we've also had the foresight to post it or to agree that we're just not gonna talk
No,
about
I'm
it.
talking about,
Yes,
a site walk and a bunch of people everybody decided to show up.
yeah,
Right.
That wasn't posted,
yeah,
right? That has happened in the past, way past.
Yeah.
And somebody got in trouble for it.
oh,
Not Peter, not I. Prior to, my
we're going way
time as a
back,
chairperson.
got it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's it's just as simple as that, that you just kinda know what's going on. It's not the micromanage, it's not the whatever, but some of it, it's kinda like how we used to do it. You'd put whatever out, and then next thing you know, Joe and I go, oh, hey, we'll go look at it. Okay, why? It's kinda like what I put out. Cause I drove by when I brought Sam at school, and I look at the ones on Main Street, and the backyard's all blown out. I'm like, that's maintenance, not bad, not good, and I just put it out. Same thing, and same thing, hey Bree, can you check it? Or whatever, it's just out there as a random, but everybody knows about it, so you can drive by, everybody can drive by and go, yeah, there's no leaves there. So it's more just a random, like that. It's no in-depth to it.
Or the excavators in Knoll Pond, I just saw it.
Oh, yeah, that's okay though, they're just getting the beaver dam out of the way.
They're just washing it off.
Yeah, so it's just, I think it's simple as that, whether it was every Friday it goes out, or whatever, or, and that, cause that gives me.
Well, it's a suggestion,
See what she
let
said- see how she
her
wants to
come
work
up
with
with her own suggestions
Okay.
for the next meeting, so that, again, this is a process we're all going through, we're all experiencing change here, and
And that just keeps it.
there are levels of discomfort with change, and let's, again,
Right,
I've said enough.
yes,
I don't think I wanna say any more.
right.
Do you think Melissa would object to anything that I've said tonight?
No,
I actually think so, but that's another question.
I think she would object to how long this took, I will say. Am I right or am I right, Jared?
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say for the next meeting, do you want me to have an agenda item to start talking about processes as far
Yes.
as the application?
Yep,
process goes
Absolutely,
and-
whatever
Okay,
Melissa and Bree are gonna work on it, great. And but let's put it on the agenda, and since I won't be here, Melissa will run it anyway.
You're not gonna zoom,
be out in no time.
you're not gonna zoom in?
No. I'm not zooming into any meeting.
Right, right?
I'm gonna FaceTime you the whole
I
time.
don't know, he's
Good
slipping.
luck with that. Decline.
Shut your phone off.
This is worth $1,000.
I don't care.
Is there any other business before the commission?
Well, shut up. So because, again, it's because it came up and I wasn't even thinking about it. So this whole winter, when this thing is done, this road's open and closed and whatever you wanna call it, we know it's not going where it's supposed to go, which we don't even know where it ends. Did you look at the plans?
I was looking at it on my laptop right here.
No, before. Where's the water go?
There's a few different discharge points.
There's no treatment, right? Okay,
Not
whatever.
not that I could
The
see.
design was accepted and we're stuck with it.
You know, just drop inlets, I assume, to,
Okay. But what do we do with the piece by the dam that's all full of mulch hay bales? Just have them take them out? I mean, the road's basically stabilized. Otherwise, it's gonna be a wicked dam. They let them, I mean, if we tell them they can remove them, they probably will. If we don't, they're gonna go, well, you didn't remove them, now you have an ice dam. I mean, it's bad when it rains.
well, the flip side of that is, unless I'm mistaken, they're supposed to leave ECBs in until the COC, right?
yes.
Isn't that the usual deal? Why would it be any different for
Well,
this?
they've already moved some. But that's just a bad point. Right there, there's gonna be a skating rink. Well, I'm trying to think, well, who the heck can you ask?
Well, Miles Road's gonna be a skating rink.
Yeah, but you know
It's gonna be-
that dip is brutal. And if they leave those mulch bills in, it's gonna be even, I mean, plows are gonna hit them anyways. Well, who Christ would you ask? If they can remove them for the winter?
I don't know, maybe we should, to be honest with you, I think we ought to involve DPW. Send them a letter and ask for their opinion.
It's gonna create a hazard.
Yeah,
That's the-
does DPW?
Does DBW think leaving all the sedimentation controls in is going to be a hazard before winter, so we can talk to them about it? Maybe that.
DPW ends up getting tasked with the additional
And,
sand.
because guess what, even if we're gonna let them remove some and it's a questionable, it's public safety still beats it. So, yeah, I would,
So I would actually write the letter, not just DPW, well, address to DPW, but I would CC Tracy and
Yeah.
Adele.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of them to see, because again, this is a long-term project, and you're going, if this is, it could, safety could be a wicked issue if they all stay intact.
Is it specifically silt sacks or is it the bales?
Mulch wattles.
Okay,
The mulch wattles that are there, I mean, they're stacked on a triangle.
yeah,
But when it rains, there's 2 feet of water,
yeah.
and the plows are gonna hit them anyways.
Are you talking about along the entirety of the road or just in a specific area?
I would, I think I would do it to the DPW and have him look at the installed ECBMs and see what he thinks is.
That's, her question is the entire project, or do
Do
you
the
wanna
whole,
isolate?
have him look at the mile and a quarter of road. Where else besides the dam does he think the installed ECBMs are gonna be a problem? So we can just
May
maybe
create a safety issue
for the winter, so we can address it before it becomes one.
And you're referring specifically to mulch wattles, correct?
Just say ECBs.
CBs in general, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and just because how the water flow, the other stuff, you're looking at it going, if you release a couple of them,
Yeah,
you're gonna maybe save somebody from crashing. And most of that is, we're giving them permission to get rid of them if it deems necessary. I'd rather stop a problem,
Okay,
kind of an
do we
odd
need to
ask.
vote on that? Just like-
No,
Okay.
that's a letter.
Just caution.
Okay, anything else?
I've got my watch poised, so there better not be anything else.
No, but that was kind of important. Snow's coming.
Bah.
it is.
You don't drive down that road, it's fine.
I don't either.
I do when I go grocery shopping.
Try not to.
Motion to adjourn,
Second,
Roll call.
Chancellor Lucci, aye.
Don't go like.
Langer, aye.
like I.
Great, we're adjourned.